I don't have a ton of experience reviewing hardware. This is something I've recently started getting into, and because I have a lack of experience, there are things that I'm going to miss, and I have a lot to learn about this particular process. And one of the things that I needed to learn about is how to test the thermals of, these retro handhelds that have been coming to me. Russ from Retro Game Core, he made a video, he talked about the idea that the Neo Pocket Evo currently has a problem with it, and that problem has to do with thermals. Now, I don't remember off the top of my head if Russ is the first person to notice this, or if he was, repeating something that people had posted on Reddit. But basically, Russ was working on his review of this device, and he said, you know what, I'm not getting consistent results. So when I did my test, I did the test once and I got my results, and I was like, oh, these are the results, and everything seems fine. But Russ tested it multiple times, and the longer that he was using the device, the worse the results got. And that's because there's an issue with the thermals in some of the Neo Pocket Evos. And the reason I'm making this video is so I can show people how you can test your devices so that you can find out if thermals are a problem, especially if you bought the Neo Pocket Evo. You're going to want to run this test so you can find out whether or not you need to ask Neo to help you fix this, or if your system is all set. So without further ado, what we're going to do today is we're going to run some software that is freely available on Android. It's also freely available on PC, but I'm running it on a bunch of different Android handhelds. And it's called 3D Mark, and I'm going to show you how to go through and run these tests, and then when we come back, I'll show you the results from 3 different manufacturers, what their thermals are like on devices like the Neo Pocket Evo. If that sounds good, get comfortable, get subscribed. Let's get started. And by the way, since I am new at this, if you know of certain tests that I should be running when I do receive these review units, let me know in the comment section down below. Like I said, I'm new at this and I'm willing to learn, and I appreciate all of the people who have been giving me advice on how to review these devices. So first off, these are Android devices, so we're going to find the testing app on the Play Store. So you're going to go to the Play Store, and you're just going to search for 3D Mark, and this is the icon that you're looking for. It says 3D Mark, the gamer's benchmark, and it's already installed on mine. So then I'm just going to go ahead and hit open, and it's going to give you a little tutorial. I'm going to skip the tutorial because really it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, what you're looking for on here is the Wildlife Extreme stress test. So you're going to scroll back and forth until you find the one that you're looking for, which is the Wildlife Extreme stress test. And then you're just going to click the download button, and it's going to go ahead and download. And it says right here, the Wildlife Extreme stress test is a demanding 20-minute test that shows how a device performs under longer periods of heavy load. Instead of producing a single score, the main result of the stress test is a chart showing how the device manages performance and heat during heavy use. And that during heavy use is the thing that we're actually looking at here. If you have a device that has good thermals, then when the device gets used under heavy load, those thermals will keep the chip cool and you will maintain stable results. However, if the thermals of your device aren't good, the longer that you run it, the hotter that chip is going to get, and you're going to start seeing lower scores over time. And that's what this test is designed to use. And now that it's installed, all I have to do is press on that play button, and it says don't touch your device, just leave it alone. And we're going to run the same test on the Amberneck RG406H and the RG406V. And next I'm going to try it on the Retroid Pocket Flip. There we go, that's running. Next up, this is the Neo Pocket DMG. One thing to point out is that this has different performance profiles, so you want to make sure that you are on the max profile so that you are really doing a stress test. And then Wildlife Extreme stress test, hit go, and it's going to go ahead and run. We'll move that out of the way. And then the whole reason we're doing this is because of the Neo Pocket Evo. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I am running in max. You'll know that you are because the fan is going to be going bananas. So here we're going to do the Wildlife Extreme stress test, and I'm going to get play. And then once all of these are done running, I'm going to show you all the results. All right, so now let's take a look at the results. I'm going to start with the RG406H. And first off, I'm going to ignore the loop scores because this isn't really a comparison of power. This is a comparison of thermals. And this one has a stability of 99.5%. The higher that you get for a number, the better. That means that from one test to the last test, with the last test probably being with the chip at its hottest, you know, they should be close to each other. And if you scroll through, you could take a look at a few graphs to see how everything's progressing. You can see your performance range. You can come down here to performance monitoring, and if you want, you can check out temperature and frame rate. So I'm going to hit temperature and frame rate, and then we have here the frame rate is this orange line down here. And then the temperature is this purple line up here. You can see the purple is going up over time. Let's move on from that and take a look at the RG406V. You can see 98.4%. Nice flat line for the stress test. Here's our performance range. I'm going to go all the way down here to performance monitoring. I'm going to click on temperature and frame rate. And you can see temperature going up over time. And then here is the frame rate. Next up is the RG Cube, 99.5% stability, which is awesome. Showing you the graphs. And then we'll switch this over to temperature and frame rate. Pretty much the same as the other two. Now we're going to switch manufacturers, and we're going to take a look at Retroid. This is the Retroid Pocket Flip. You can see here 99.5% stability. There's our stress test stuff. Here's our performance and monitoring. Just switch this back over to temperature and frame rate. There you have it. Okay. And now we're going to move into the Ioneo stuff. Here's the Ioneo Pocket DMG. Again, ignoring the best loop score and the lowest loop score, but here's stability, 84.4%. You can see our stress test, not a nice flat line the whole time. It started up high and then it dropped down a little bit. Here's the performance range. And then this is battery and frame rate. So I want to switch that over to temperature and frame rate. And then, as I said before, the reason that we're doing this whole thing is because of the thermals on the Ioneo Pocket Evo, which had a stability of 88.2%. Got a very similar stress test graph as the Ioneo Pocket DMG, which shouldn't come as a huge surprise. They have the same chipset. Here's our performance range. And then switching this back over to temperature and frame rate. Here you can see the results. So what does all of this mean? Well, it means that right now it seems like Ioneo has worse thermals than Anbernic and Retroid. And I am not an expert on this kind of thing, but that seems like definitely an issue. I also want to talk just a little bit about the fact that, and this is ridiculous to me, Ioneo's solution for dealing with the issues with the Ioneo Pocket Evo was, we'll ship you stuff and you can fix it yourself. And I'm just going to zoom out real quick so you can see the whole device. Let me just turn it off so that I'm not dealing with the screen. If I flip this over, you know what you don't see any of on here anywhere? You don't see screws. So you're going to have to like pry this thing open, with like those little guitar pick things or a spudger tool. Basically, they'll have clips to hold it closed. You're going to have to pry this thing open and hope that you don't damage it as you're trying to open it up. They do have, it looks like right here, a spot where you can get in there, although I think that's probably the speakers, but gives you a spot where you can kind of start wedging your way around. That's not a good response. Fixing it yourself is not a good response. This is a device that somebody has purchased, and it's not like it's a bunch of computer parts that people are buying so that they can build it on their own. If people wanted to build their own stuff, then they would build their own stuff. This is something that people bought expecting that it would work. And if it's not working, just saying, well, let us know and we'll send you the tools to fix it. That's lame. They should allow you to send it in and get it back. Of course, one thing that you do have to keep in mind is if they did that, you would be without your device for a very, very long time. But they should at least give you that as an option for people who are not comfortable opening up devices like this and working on them. But what do you think about these results? Let me know in the comments section down below. I couldn't remember that thing. And of course, if it's your first time here, please subscribe. From the Nerd Nest, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching. And stay rad. Oh, and before you get out of here, check out this video right here. YouTube picked it just for you.